Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the gas station. This is Tuesday the 29th of October. Where the hell did October go? How y'all are? Hope you had a good weekend. Joe did. And the week's starting off all right for me. I hope it is for you too. Just do a little recap and something I wanted to talk about with y'all. Had a great weekend out at the cab. You can watch the videos. Working on the house. Gary came out Sunday. We did all the all the walls, all the exterior walls are insulated. And came up plans for next weekend. Got our game plans in place. Something interesting that I wanted to make sure I mentioned on this. I drove out there Friday morning, and I passed by a speedway in Old Washington. And gas was, this is on I-70, right off the exit. Gas was $2.65 a gallon. I'm like, that's pretty cool. I might, depending on what I use over the weekend, I might stop there and get some on the way back, because we were like $2.87 here. And Monday afternoon when I left to come back home and come back to work, gas had gone up to $3.18. 53 cents a gallon it jumped up. For what? I don't know. I don't understand that kind of, it's like $2.65 for the weekend, and then come Monday when all the traffic is pretty much business traffic on 70, it goes back up to $3.18. I couldn't believe when I saw that. But that's not what I got on here to talk to y'all about. I'm going to talk about something, try to make this kind of quick if that's possible. I got a comment on the video I put up doing the installation, and I mentioned how I wanted to do the walls with the tongue and groove pine, just because it looks so cool. It's expensive, so it may take me a while to get to that point, because I got to save up for that kind of stuff and just buy it as I can. But that's what we want. I think that would look cool. So I got a comment on that, and I'm not complaining about the comment. Logically, it makes all the sense in the world. But the guy mentioned, you're in the upper 60s, and drywall would be a lot cheaper, easier, and faster to get you in. And he's 100% correct. I agree with that 100%. It would be cheaper, it would be faster, and it would be easier. And I'm in the upper 60s. I'll be 68 next year. But my issue with that, what I wanted to talk about with, is, are you ever too old to quit going after your dream? I just don't know how that really works out, because y'all know the way I grew up. I have no, or some of you do. I had no role models. We were on the run all the time as a family when I was a kid. We were in different states every few months. I think my mom was wanted by the law and was running from the law. Because we'd get woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning, grab what you can, and we'd be in another state the next day. And sometimes we were loaded with money. We had everything we want. We were down in Corpus Christi, got horses and, new guitars, all kinds of shit. And then 6 months later, we're on Padre Island living in a car. So that's the way I grew up. That was my teachings on economics, if you will. So I've always had a problem dealing with money. I've never been good with it. I've never saved money. I don't know, I am a paycheck to paycheck person for 67 years. That's the way I've lived. And that's not good. I understand that. And I don't need any lessons now at my age. But one of the things that causes, and the way I've spent my whole life and my family, it's my fault, obviously. But it's always been, well, this is the cheapest way to go, or this is the easiest way to go, you know? And I'm kind of tired of always going with the cheapest route, no matter what I do, you know, or what's the quickest. So, I don't want to do that on this. If we want the pine, tongue and groove pine on the walls, then that's what I'll get. I'm in no hurry to get it done, other than the fact, you know, my age. But what if I live to be 87 years old? You know, we move out there next year, and I sit in that house, you know, I'm in that house for 20 more years, and I don't have it the way I wanted it, or the way Gail wanted it, because we took the cheapest route again, or the easiest route again. And I'm not sure I want to do that. You know, I'm not conceding to my mortality. I know my mortality, but I'm not going to concede to it. I don't want to now go the cheapest route, whatever you want to call it, because of my age. I don't want to do that. Or the fastest route because of my age. I don't want to get to that. I don't have to move out there. I'm in no time crunch. I can take my time, as you can tell by this channel. But it begs the question, are you ever too old to stop chasing your dreams? And I think if you reach that point, then that's when you're ready to go ahead and die. I mean, you don't have anything left that you want to reach for. So, it's kind of weird. It's hard to talk about because I have to take so much blame on myself for how my life has turned out. You know, I've never, ever used anything in my life for an excuse. You know, I've always told you, I've always told everybody, every situation I've been in my life, once I was 15 years old, and I hitchhiked from Cincinnati, Ohio to Corpus Christi, Texas, at 16 years old, to go live with my sister down in Corpus Christi, down on Padre Island. And but from that point forward, let's say, every situation I've ever been in, or everything that's ever happened to me, is a result of something I've done. Right? I have total control over everything. So I'm not looking for excuses. I'm not making excuses. It's just the way it is. Now, the really ugly things that happened to us as kids and that we all went through, I mean, I did resolve, and I'm very proud of the fact that my kids have never had to witness anything. That's the one thing I wanted to make sure of. And one of the reasons why I married Gail, because she could help me with that, you know. But to make sure that my children never had to witness anything like that in their life. And they haven't. They've never seen that. They don't know about it. They don't need to know that way of life. We went through it. My sister and I, you know, we went through it. It was so bad that when my dad died in the mid-90s, I don't remember exactly what year, but it was like a weight was lifted off my shoulders, because he was the last of them, all the aunts and uncles and stepdads and stepmoms and grandma, he was the very last one that knew what was happening and didn't do anything about it. So when he finally died, it's like, okay, everybody's gone now. I'm still here, you know. So I took that kind of as a victory. So, and it sucks, you know. It's rather interesting because I worked for a guy. I'll tell you a quick little story here. And it's difficult to tell. It's kind of weird, right? I worked for a guy in Cincinnati, Tom, for years. And he did more for me and taught me more. He took me and made me a commodity, if that makes sense. He gave me everything I needed to turn me into something that I could sell to another company. That he gave me, you know, I learned everything. I learned everything from him. So Tom died in 2000. And I was at the funeral. I was talking to his widow. And I said, Ann, you know, something I didn't even realize until today, right? Or that day. Of all of the relatives that died, all the dads and moms and steps, everybody that died, I never grieved for anybody. Anyway, for Tom, I grieved. And still do to this day. But that was something I didn't realize, that was something else they had deprived me of. Because I never knew what grief was. So, and to learn it at, I don't know, in my 40s, pretty much sucked. But, yes, sir.
20 on 5, please.
20 on 5, we can do that.
I'll take a copy of that if you don't mind.
Certainly, well, that's an extra $1. There you go,
Right,
bud.
you have a good night.
You do as well. But yeah, that was a hard lesson to learn. Now, you know, since I've grieved for my animals and stuff, but that was an interesting lesson to learn. Anyway, see how I wander off on things. It sucks. I just, that comment, and an excellent comment. I thank him so much for making that comment, because that's what makes his channel good. Sometimes they give you things to think about. But, yeah, I don't think I will ever stop chasing a dream or trying to find out what's around the next corner. I never want to ever get to where I'm content with life. Because I can always find something else. There's something else to do. There's something else to want. So, never stop chasing after your dream. It doesn't matter how long it takes. It doesn't matter how much money it costs. It doesn't matter how old you get. Never stop. That's when we die. I mean, I think that's, I think, again, I mean, back to everybody dying, and most everybody in the family died of cancer. So I figure, you know, I mean, I've been dealing with a couple health issues lately, but I've never been diagnosed with anything like that. Yet. I still got my chest scan to do and my colonoscopy, so we'll see. But I've always said some days there's going to be a knock on my door and say, okay, Joe, we're here for you now. But yeah, I got to thinking about that, and I may change our mind. We may go with drywall only because we'll do different decor, different ceiling or something. But I'm not going to do it because it's cheaper. I'm not going to do it because it's easier or because it's quicker. I'm going to do it because that's what we want. And if I have to wait an extra 3 months to get the money for all the tongue and groove, I can do other things while I'm saving up for it. Yes, sir.
Oh, 15 on 4.
We'll do 15 on 4 for you. Chip malfunction. I hate you.
Yeah. Dusty as hell, almost like.
Yeah.
Cutting block all day.
Nah, it's good.
Thank you, thank you.
No receipt. You are good to go, my friend.
You have a good one.
You certainly do as well.
Thank you.
But anyway, the point of this video is Don't give up your dreams. Keep chasing your dreams. And if you catch that dream, think of something else. Don't ever sit back and say, okay, I'm done with everything. I'll just sit back and, just wait now. Towns Van Zandt. You can look it up on YouTube. Towns Van Zandt, Waiting Around to Die. And a great song, those Texas songwriters back in the 70s. Just fantastic stuff. There's a film called Heartworn Highways. And it's got a lot of them in there on that. And when I lived in Houston, I used to hang around with some of these guys. I knew Towns Van Zandt. I knew Richard Dobson and Steve Earle before they ever became anybody. They'd be in the bar just picking and singing. But look up for and listen to It's Better Than Waiting Around to Die. Great song. And I think I heard that back in the 70s, and I've never forgot that, right? And everything I do is better than waiting around to die. That's how you got to look at it, So regardless of the difficulty of the task, don't give up on it, and celebrate the little victories. That's part of, you set these goals, but you set some that are attainable so you have something to celebrate. Some of them you may never attain, but there's joy in striving for it, is what I'm trying to say. So listen to that. And I'm going to tell you one other one. Richard Dobson. There's YouTube videos. He did a song, Forever, For Always, For Certain. Just unbelievably great tune. But one of the lines in it that I never forgot, the day I heard it, I was sitting at a bar called the Social Circle, and everybody's picking, And he said, forgotten don't mean that it's done. I'm like, holy shit, how cool is that? Anyway, enough of that. Just a little insight into Joe for you. This is how I operate, But I appreciate that comment so very much. And there are some comments that you get on these channels, and they make you think. They make you sit back, and I love that kind of stuff. So let me know what you think. Leave a comment. Let's talk about this. I'm not the only one that grew up like this or had to deal with all this crap and dealing with it still today. But yeah, leave a comment. Let's talk. This is Joe here at the gas station. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. I'm out.